Professor Friend, the title of your talk this morning already raised the question, is it living up to the promise? And you meant the ex-situ organ reconditioning, of course.
Well, I think the answer is yes. It's always a longer path than you want. It always takes longer to get somewhere than you thought when you started. But I think that the results of the early clinical trials are showing what we expected. There is quite a lot of consensus now as to what the important questions are, and there's a real sense that this whole program of innovation is moving forwards. And I think you can see that by just looking at the sessions here today. It's almost impossible to get into the room for the sessions that are talking about the new preservation technologies, and that's very different from 10 years ago.
Well, you were one of the pioneers in the field, and you believed in ex-situ organ reconditioning even when many others did not. But when did you start to believe in it? Is there maybe a special story connected to this?
There isn't a particularly special story, but yes, we did believe in it before most people did, and it was a small club of enthusiasts back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I think it's fair to say that most people thought we were eccentric, or worse. But I think if you're going to make a useful contribution, sometimes it's important to believe in something a little bit ahead of everyone else. And it's nice to see that more people are joining the club. It still remains a very interesting club to belong to.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we've learned from you this morning that the normothermic perfusion is going to be the future. But in your opinion, do you believe that there's some situation or some indication in which the classic cold perfusion will remain the better choice?
I think there are some situations in which classic static cold storage has fewer disadvantages. I don't think it has major advantages other than simplicity and price. But those are not trivial. So I think it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen just what the magnitude of the benefits turns out to be. And some of those benefits, of course, are logistic, about when you do a transplant. There are real costs about doing transplants in the middle of the night, for example. So I think this is a question which remains open, and I don't think it's a question that we need to rush to answer.
All right. Now, tomorrow, you are going to give a talk about the old new listing criteria for liver, pancreas and intestinal transplantation. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a short outlook?
I think that we always need to have our eyes open. It's always important that we see the future as being different from the past, and we should always look at what we might be able to do with new opportunities, and new opportunities might be technological. They might be social. So who, for example, would have predicted the large number of altruistic kidney donors that we are now seeing? That's an opportunity which just has materialized. So I think there are always things coming up. Every time there's an ESOT meeting, somebody is presenting something which nobody had thought of before. It's new, it's exciting, it's a step forward. So it's all about having our brains tuned to receive as well as to transmit.
Well, Professor Friend, thank you. It was a pleasure. I think our time is already up, but we're already looking forward to go more into detail listening to your talk tomorrow, which will, by the way, also be broadcasted via Transplant Live, and people will be able to follow it all over the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.